Coming up on News 2, the Attorney General's office called a press conference responding to former Governor John DeYoung's payment toward the controversial security measures at his private home. We'll have details. After the poisoning of a family on St. John, a local workshop on the proper use of pesticides. Plus, seniors took to the mall on St. Thomas for an event that's part of Older Americans Month. That's coming up. Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm April Knight, in for Sandra Gamansing. Topping our newscast, former Governor John DeYoung sent a check in the amount of $202,000 to the Department of Property and Procurement as repayment for the security improvements in his private residence in Moffley. Last night, the acting Attorney General, in behalf of the Department of Justice, sent DeYoung a letter in response, giving back the check and basically saying, sorry, no deal. Here's more.
We simply cannot accept your unilateral representations of your asserted obligations to the government, and the government of the Virgin Islands hereby returns your $202,831.60 check.
That's Acting Attorney General Terry Griffiths reading a letter she sent to former Governor John DeYoung, rejecting what he called his payments for the security improvements done at his private home while he was governor. A 2010 report by the U.S. Inspector General put those improvement costs at close to $500,000. Property and procurement ordered appraisals are a little less.
That equals $340,816.67, which is above the funding that was returned to our department.
DeYoung wrote a check for only $202,000, applying his own reductions to the total cost.
Your unilateral terms run afoul of the findings and opinion of the U.S. Inspector General's office.
The government is calling it misuse of federal funds originally intended for roadways.
Since the appropriated funds should never have been used to finance security improvements at the governor's private residence, all contracts and agreements issued for that purpose are invalid.
And they're not done yet. They're giving back the check and launching an investigation into the former governor's actions.
The government of the Virgin Islands needs to fully assess the nature and consequences of your conduct and the resulting loss to the government, to include any amounts of restitution that may be due as a result of your conduct.
The 2010 Inspector General's report did say that other sitting governors have also spent for security measures wherever their residences were, but the issue at hand is where the monies were taken from and the fact that they were already appropriated for a roadway project. Speaking of governors' residences, still nothing from Government House on the details of Governor Mapp's lease on a residence on St. Thomas. The governor is also not living in the governor's mansion, instead renting a separate home and spending some $12,500 a month. Meanwhile, the AG's office is also taking a plea deal off the table that was offered to radio station owner Jonathan Cohen, who's charged with 21 counts of failure to file his income tax return. Griffiths details the previous plea deal and why they have the grounds to take it off the table.
I noted a plea offer on the table for Cohen that dismissed all counts except for one. I was also concerned about the calculation of the tax arrearages. Essentially, under this plea offer, Mr. Cohen the government doesn't even object to expungement of any conviction. I directed her to pull the plea off the table and assign the case to another attorney, Daniel Houston. Even after there's been a plea entered, there is case law for withdrawing a plea offer.
Meanwhile, in Governor Mapp's absence, Acting Governor Osbert Potter signed some bills, including a measure that would allow the Department of Tourism to attract and hire prospects. But the Lieutenant Governor did say he was hesitant because there was no funding for the mandated hiring. Potter also approved the Good Samaritan law, which allows individuals to assist in emergencies without liability. The acting governor did veto some bills, including one that would expunge misdemeanors from the records of low-level criminal offenders as part of a second chance program. Well, police are still searching for a 47-year-old woman who's been missing since Monday. Wanda Rivas was last seen on May 18th near the ice cream shop in Sunny Isle. She was wearing a red, blue, and white striped blouse and blue jeans. Police say reports of a body washing up on a local beach and being that of Rivas is completely false. Rivas is Hispanic with black hair and brown eyes. She's usually in the area of Cool Runnings Bar, Frederickstead, Campo Rico, Lagoon Street Complex, and Chris's Hideaway Bar. Anyone who may have seen Rivas is asked to call VIPD Detective Moses Francis. And just a quick note, one of the VIPD's offices will be closed Friday only. Officials announced Wednesday that the Records Bureau, located at the Mars Hill complex, will be closed for business all day Friday. Employees will be participating in Civilians Day activities. The office will reopen on Tuesday. Meanwhile, a public hearing began at 6 this evening at the Shalnarmali High School auditorium, and you may still have time to catch it. WAPA officials are sharing the details of a plan put together by one of the authority's consulting firms. The Integrated Resource Plan is a study that will decide what will be the best mix of power generation for WAPA for the next 20 years. Residents will have the opportunity to not only hear the plan, but ask questions and offer comments on the plan. A similar study was also conducted by the authority's transmission and distribution system. A town hall is also planned for St. Croix. Well, on Wednesday on St. Croix, various government and non-government agencies got together in an event organized by the governor's office, and it was all about emergency and disaster preparedness. Agencies like FEMA, Customs and Border Protection, and the American Red Cross participated. Here's Red Cross's disaster program specialist Robert Suffley to tell us more.
The focus is to have an all hazards plan so that we can respond to a hurricane, tsunami, and earthquake. And it was to illustrate some of the gaps that some of the agencies, including Red Cross, has in our response and relief efforts. So some of our gaps would be manning the shelters, because Red Cross is responsible for staffing, operating the shelters in the event that the shelter is opened and operational.
Well, more than 100 seniors flocked to Tutu Park Mall Thursday morning, and not for shopping, but for their health. As Older Americans Month winds down, the Department of Human Services put together a health expo to make sure our seniors know where their health stands.
We have the health screening, which is the cholesterol, blood sugar, and blood pressure screening. We have dental screening. And some of the agencies from the community are Medicare, AARP, we have Walgreens, and some of the units from Senior Citizens Affairs at Human Services. Make sure that they get their health screenings so that they know what their numbers are, what their blood pressure number is, and things like that, to keep them healthy and aware so that they can take follow-up steps if they need to.
Well, local exterminating companies have been under fire recently after a Delaware family was poisoned on St. John in March. This week, pesticide applicators in both districts attended workshops hosted by UVI, several other universities, and the Department of Planning and Natural Resources. Now, DPNR officials had slowed certifications, but these workshops were an opportunity for pesticide applicators to be certified, or in some cases, recertified. News 2's Erica Parsons has that story.
Local exterminators went to training workshops this week. On the agenda was pesticide safety and updates from the industry.
We've been planning this for about a year now, and it took a while to get off the ground.
The three-day event was spearheaded by UVI and the Department of Planning and Natural Resources. Trainers from the University of Georgia and Clemson University conducted the workshops.
It covers a wide range of topics, label changes, misuse, and most important of all, pesticide safety. So including storage, disposal.
Pesticide labels do change, It's not something that's static. US EPA registers pesticides, and they make label changes. So it's important to be aware of those changes and have meetings like this.
The pesticide training come on the heels of a tragedy in St. John where a family was poisoned. A condo next to the family's unit was sprayed with methyl bromide, which is banned in the U.S. The Terminex employee involved lost his certification, and DPNR officials slowed the issuance of all certifications.
We had a few applications that were pending, and in light of everything that was going on, we felt it prudent to, increase our due diligence. So we just did a little bit more research before acting on those certifications.
VI pesticide trainer Dr. Joe Williamson has been critical of DPNR over federal funds they never released to cover pesticide trainings in the St. Thomas-St. John district. He hasn't taught a class there since last May. Officials say that's being resolved.
That is something that we're working with UVI on, and we're going through the process. Progress has been made.
DPNR officials were silent on what, if any, litigation or charges might arise from all of this, but say the investigation is still ongoing.
And, of course, what happened on St. John was very tragic, very unfortunate. It's not something that we would want to see happen ever again. As part of preventing that, we're reviewing our processes. We're also looking at what other states are doing.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Turning our attention overseas, police have a lead in the murders of 4 people who were found dead inside a multi-million-dollar mansion in D.C. The head of that family owned businesses and interests on both St. Thomas and St. Croix, including one called American Management Solutions. Police have issued an arrest warrant for a Maryland man with a long criminal record. Craig Boswell has the latest from Washington.
Police are hunting for 34-year-old Darren Dillon Went. Authorities believe Went, possibly with help from others, held a family and a housekeeper captive in their D.C. home, tortured them, then set the house on fire. A 10-year-old boy is among the victims. Police say Went may have fled D.C. on a bus.
We believe Mr. Went is currently in the Brooklyn, New York area.
Investigators found leftover pizza in the multi-million-dollar home of Savas and Amy Savopoulos, and DNA on the crust connects Went to the crime scene. The victims may have been targeted in an extortion plot. The personal assistant to businessman Savas Savopoulos was reportedly instructed to bring $40,000 to the home and leave it outside. Investigators say that may have been a payoff to stop the physical abuse of the victims inside. Police say the suspect knew Savas Savopoulos, but did not say how Went got into the house, which is not far from Vice President Joe Biden's official residence.
Right now, it does not appear that this was just a random crime, but there is a connection through the business of the suspect and the Savopoulos family business.
Police now say Went is believed to be the man in the grainy footage released several days ago. They caution the public to assume the suspect is armed and dangerous. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
And keeping our eye on the economy, here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. Everything up: the Dow 0.34, NASDAQ 19, S&P 4.9. Coming up on News 2, local students explain the laws of life and they win big. We have winners from a student essay contest. We'll be right back. Welcome back. More than 600 students from across the territory joined the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands Laws of Life contest this year. In its 15th year, the contest gathered student essays revolving around powerful themes, all of them addressing a particular law of life or a simple rule that the students learned a lot from. 75 students were selected as the winners. Some of them you can see there. On St. Thomas, the students are from Charlotte Amalie and Eudora Ken High Schools. On St. Croix, they're from Central High and Educational Complex. First place winners from St. Thomas include Janisha O'Bain, Gia Freeman, Ducara Este, Chad Bryan, Janaya McCain, Raven Phillips Love, and Camille Willis. Winners from St. Croix are Diamond Mark, Miguel Martyr, Bria James, Caden Miller, Leah Akil, and Sheila Fabio. Congratulations. The Rotary Club of St. Croix Mid-Isle gave out $10,000 in grants on Wednesday. The educational grants were presented to local organizations who support youth programs during the club's morning meeting. Recipients included C-Tech, Complex Concert Band, A to Z Academy, and St. Joseph's High School. Reef Jam is almost 10 years old. That's the marine conservation fundraiser that's held every year to help save the reefs and educate the community. Well, it's coming up this Sunday from 1 to 10 p.m. at Rhythms at Rainbow Beach. There'll be live music, students rapping about the reef, food, a beach cleanup, and educational booths. Organizers hope people will support the event. Here are just a few things Reef Jam supports.
This is a fundraiser that we do every year to raise money for marine education and conservation efforts on St. Croix. We give free snorkel clinics. We do bioluminescent trips in Salt River National Park. We do mangrove hikes, beach cleanups. We team up with Taste of St. Croix every year, and we do a Reef Responsible Restaurant program. We also give away mini grants, $500 mini grants for marine-related education.
Well, if you got lottery tickets, you'll notice that they honor mothers and fathers. Let's not keep you waiting. Here are your winning lottery numbers.
The VI Lottery presents draw results of today's drawing on News 2. Here are the top prizes. Fifth prize for $20,000, 30435. 30435. Fourth prize for $30,000. 04953, 04953. Third prize for $40,000, 30051, 30051. Second prize for $65,000, 15089, 15089. And the winning ticket number of the grand prize for $175,000 is 06112, 06112. If your ticket wasn't called, keep trying. One of these days, your number could win. The next drawing is June 4th. Play the VI Lottery and imagine the possibilities.
Well, good luck on those tickets. Meanwhile, the VI Lottery is also honoring veterans with their latest lottery ticket. The tickets go on sale today, Thursday, for the June 2nd drawing. They feature 19 of the territory's finest soldiers who gave their life for this country. Some of those include Staff Sergeant Calvin Jackson Sr., Sergeant First Class Floyd Lake, Lieutenant Colonel Monique Glassford McCoy, Sergeant Leo Sibley, and Lieutenant Colonel David Canigata III. Tickets can be purchased at the office or from local dealers. Meanwhile, the We the People project will be launching a new campaign next week. It's called Represent VI, and the project founder, Neil Weir, will be in both districts next week to talk to residents about the upcoming centennial and why the community should make a bigger push for U.S. voting rights. Weir says every U.S. citizen should enjoy the right to vote for president, including those who call the Virgin Islands home. And stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.